Hello and welcome to Chesco Podcast, where we break down and review a movie while overall just trying to have fun because, you know, that's the best thing you can do. And in this circumstance, we're going to try our hardest. I'm your host, Drag King Thomas Hughes.
Hi, I'm Hayden. I do really want to be here for this one. This one's a shit show.
Look, you signed up for the 6-picture deal. You got to do all 6.
I got to sign up for all the fucking ones.
You signed up for the entire Michael Bay month. You fucked yourself, basically.
Michael Bay gave me loads of money. I had to.
Anyway, today we're discussing Transformers: The Last Night, released in 2017. This movie served as the final entry directed by Michael Bay, who brought us Six Underground and Transformers. Wait a minute.
Oh god.
When you run out Michael Bay movies, you have to name drop Transformers.
Yeah, the first Transformers, second, third, fourth. The one we watched.
Yeah, let's get straight into this. Easiest way to sum this film up: a mess.
Dog shit. Yes, it's literally 2 films, 2 plot lines, all mixed into one.
I wouldn't say dog shit, but I'd definitely say a mess. It's all over the shop. It's got a few redemption factors, but not enough like to be as high caliber as even the 4th one, which wasn't the greatest.
And you know you're saying something when the 4th one was better.
Yep. That film was very average.
Somewhat.
Even
that was something. This one was just. It's like if you got a pie, you bit into it.
I mean, what?
Yeah, and instead of actually having anything in that pie, it was just air. He was eating pastry. A visual pastry. It wasn't even that good looking. It's got a cool dragon design on it, but then there's just it keeps changing shape. So yeah, that's what this film was. A shape changing pie.
A shape changing. Weirdest way to explain this movie. Oh, there is obviously, as I said, there's a few factors that do have good positive nature on this. Straight up, Anthony Hopkins. He's definitely a positive for this movie. He's obviously, of all the comedy, he's the one that actually sticks. A lot of it is hit or miss. Most of the time, miss. But I mean, Anthony Hopkins comes in, just bang. That one scene in the car when someone's honking at him, he just sticks his finger up at him, and that just sold it. That just sold Anthony Hopkins as probably one of the best human characters to come out of this franchise since probably the parents. The parents or Simmons. Because obviously the human factor hasn't been the greatest in a while for Transformers. But Anthony Hopkins, it knocked it out the park in this mediocre mess of a movie, and then knocked it even more out the park with fucking Ragnarok a few months later.
Oh my god, yeah. I think the best way to explain the comedy for him is it's natural comedy. It fits him so well. And then you've got the other comic relief, and it's more forced comedy. And
you mean
that's what makes it hit or miss. Yeah, he's definitely
forced.
With Anthony, it seems like they didn't want him to do that, but he did it anyways. So I mean,
I just feel like he's just sniffed a load of coke, got some crystal meth in that whole pipe of his, and he's just there smoking it all day.
Yep. Some of his comedy lines don't feel like they've been scripted. It's something he came up with.
Yeah, when that fat guy's running on the fucking sub, he's like, "Move your fat ass!"
Yeah.
It's when he screams at that woman's face, that cracks me up though with that scene. And she's just there, she's looking really confused. She was clearly his tourist is coming to town to this submarine. And she's just really confused that this like really old guy running for her son, screaming down her face.
Get out! Get out!
I love the bit with the Prime Minister when he's sat there and he's going shit. No, fucking Anthony Hopkins, a fucking legend.
He is, honestly.
I will say like another redeeming factor for this is probably like even though some of the roles are only tiny, the returning characters from previous movies. Because that's one thing the last movie lacked completely, was anyone connected to the franchise, really, wasn't it? Whereas this one, you got Simmons back in like a very tiny cameo role, but it was worth it because he's fucking hilarious trying to be part of the Wiki clan.
Yeah.
You've got fucking Lennox back, obviously one we said should have been back last time. You got that General, he's back. You got fucking Wheelie's back after missing the last film.
Yeah. The British one, the green one, because he was in the third film, not in the fourth.
Green one?
Yeah, the what? Remember, he was the one that had like the cape.
Oh, he was in the fourth one.
He was in the fourth one.
He was the green one, wasn't he? He was the one that's. He was the different character in the third one. Remember?
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
They changed the characters with the voice wise.
Yeah. That was it, yeah. I remember now.
You got confused as much as Michael Bay did making this movie.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's all the actual returns. Oh, and like a little Shia LaBeouf picture where he looks like he's hung. I don't know what.
Basically, they took a picture of him in real life.
Yeah. There's got one of his Air Police mugshots and just put it in there.
That'll work.
Oh, we need a picture of this guy. We need something brand new. Oh, that'll do. Get out that at page 6 of the Sun newspaper. I will say it's another redeeming factor of this film is the fact it's set in England, a lot of it. Because that always like has like a little bonus for us usually. Like if a film like has like heavy centered on England, you know, we've got to give our country a bit of love. You know.
Oh yeah, we definitely. Of course, you're wearing a fucking. Is that why you're wearing the fucking football t-shirt?
This is dating. This is a recording session.
It's
still it's coming home.
Not according to that one NASA guy.
You mean the guy from fucking Arrested Development?
Yeah.
The one who has I think he's the guy with the puppet. Yeah, he's the guy who has the puppet, and I think he has a hook in his hand at one point in that show. Yeah, that guy, the nerd, as we like to call him. Use gravity. Gravity would do you justice. It didn't work.
No, it wouldn't work. Sitting there trying to commit, he's trying to like contemplate life and wondering why he should be alive. In the background, they're all celebrating. Oh, it's coming out.
I will say, obviously, one of the big points I really do like with this is the opening sequence, the medieval battle. I found out while watching it, there's like 2 friggin' WWE wrestlers involved in that. There's 2 English ones. One's from Wolvo. Just down the road. And I can't remember where the other one's from, but there's 2 wrestlers that basically wrestle in the UK branch of WWE that were part of that sequence. And I never noticed. I never knew. I think thing is, I think I remember before reading that, and I was completely forgot. It's just something that went out my mind, and I was looking at it, I was like, who is he? And I looked at the image, I was like, oh, he's one of the sort of barbarian like characters that are fighting, obviously the knights. He was one of them. Well, they were one of them. They were 2 of them. But yeah, that whole sequence I thought was really. It like set what was meant to be it set like a bar for this film, and it just went like that afterwards.
Yeah,
it's probably like one of the best sort of opening sequences you can find out there, especially in the Transformers franchise. Because I don't usually focus heavily on the opening sequence. It's only been really like the last 2, like 3 maybe that I focused heavily on the opening like scenes. But I mean, this is like the peak of opening sequences. I know it's gonna get beaten next time with the fucking Cybertron battle, but this like on top of that, you obviously got Stanley Tucci back, but it's obviously Merlin this time. He's like really drunk. I just love the fact that he's on the horse going, "I'm totally sozzled. Just one more drink." I just love that fact. Obviously, I said to you and watching, I was like, it's a bit annoying that he's not playing the same character. Because obviously then you would have another tie to the last film, because that's the one thing obviously we kept pointing out is the fact that continuity between this whole franchise is just a mess for this movie. Like, they completely ignore a lot of the factors of the last movie and just roll on. But I mean, if they're gonna have him play anyone, I feel like he was really good as Merlin. This really drunk guy.
What I would have loved if they actually brought back his character from the previous film and kept Merlin, having his Merlin as well, and could be a whole thing of like he's like the love interest in this film isn't the only like descendant of Merlin. Like he could have been one as well, and he could have been like targeted by Megatron and like died trying to like defeat them or something. Like something quite interesting. It could be cool to use him and have it lead to her being the one having to do this instead of like him. That'd be quite fun.
Yeah. So I like as well with the opening sequence the fact that obviously you got the Knights of the Round Table. That's always like a great thing. Arthur and all that stuff. It's great stories and whatnot. I like the fact that there's like essentially there's Transformer Knights around that table as well. So you got the human Knights and you got the Transformer Knights. I thought it was quite a cool like concept. Like there's like two sets of Knights of the Round Table. There's the humans and the machines. I thought it was like a really cool like premise. Which obviously is even cooler when like, those knights can turn into a big fuck off dragon.
Yeah.
I think it's called Dragonstorm, I think. Which is like a fucking cool name.
Yeah.
And he's got like, this really cool design. I like that. It's always a bonus for me. He's like having some sort of dragon presence in a movie.
Oh my god, I just realised something. In the film, she actually says like why do people love the Arthur films, or the Arthur like stories, like all this kind of like honor and stuff, or just because the dragons? And it's like one of the big points we like about this film is the dragon.
It's me.
They knew even then.
Yep. They predicted me all those years ago.
I guess so.
Obviously, I just think that whole opening sequence was just really epic and extraordinary. You had the explosions, a little bit of slow motion, not too much. It wasn't overdone. But the rest of the film it was.
Yeah.
And he just had really good like world building to set up the premise of this whole movie. It's just a shame the rest didn't live up to this sequence. Obviously, something you brought up when we were talking about that just was Megatron, because obviously he's back, not Galvatron, even though it's the same fucking character. Obviously, design-wise, 100% better than last time. Continuity-wise, fucked, because he can now transform normally.
Yeah, he's no longer nanobots. He's a normal transformer, which makes like if they'd have at least had no explanation. But like, I think it's trying to subtly. The whole point is maybe what's her face? The weird tentacle woman,
Quintessa.
Tessa. Yeah, I think they're trying to subtly like say it was her who rebuilt him. That's why he has that red streak.
Yeah, but that makes no sense because how far away she is. Like, I mean, Prime was frozen to get there.
It makes no sense, but
Michael Bay.
They could have at least like shown how it happened, because you can tell that's what they're going for, because of the fact that he has the same streak that Prime does.
Yeah, the red. I like that. I like the red streak.
Yeah, it makes sense why that happened. It would have been nice if they explained it. Or if they kept him as nanobots, he chose that look.
Yeah, but they didn't. That's like one of the few, many flaws with this movie is obviously continuity. The others obviously being story's a bit of a mess. The camera changing fucking does my head in. Like one moment it's like biggish screen, and next minute it's like that, and it's constantly going like that the entire movie. It just
really throws you over.
Yeah.
That
mind the big screens in like action sequences, that made sense, but I mean Don't do it every 5 fucking seconds like that.
Yeah. So during an action scene, one scene will be a lot more like the black bars will be a lot lower. Some will be more like high. It makes no sense. At least fucking explain why you got this place. But at least stick to a continuity. Like stick to the how you want the shot to look, how you want the story to be, or the cat. Like basically, even in the same fucking film, the continuity is shit. From story wise to like scene wise, at least stick to stuff. They don't do that, do they?
Not at all.
They're assholes.
Obviously, we do have a lot of like new characters in this movie. So obviously, Anthony Hopkins, obviously, the love interest Vivian, obviously Quintessa, which is the first, well, really main female enemy for the films. We had the one in the second film, but I don't really care in that. But she obviously every film so far has been a male, either Decepticon or Bounty Hunter, or Autobot as a bad guy. This obviously is the creator, who's obviously a female, which is the first, which is good. I'd say obviously changes pace a bit.
It does, yeah. But obviously as well, there's the whole like storyline of being Unicron,
which is a bit of a change to obviously normal Transformer.
Because basically, like, because the opposite of that Transformers film we watched, where it was Unicron destroying Cybertron. Basically, the complete opposite, with Cybertron trying to destroy Unicron.
I like that switch. Obviously, it's quite like a big kick in the balls for the Autobots who've been trying to defend Earth, but it's them one of their mortal enemies is like Earth. It's quite an interesting change of plot. Throws you off. It throws you off, but in a good way.
That's true.
Obviously, you'd be expecting like this massive like world like eater coming elsewhere, but it's like no. The world eater is Earth.
Then of course, the thing I do quite like is the fact that it starts with a major battle between like basically two kingdoms in a way, barbarians and the Camelot people.
Yeah.
It ends between a battle between two planets. It's like it starts and ends at the same place, really. With obviously the ending being this great like prophet, this great like character, the Merlin and Optimus Prime, both were kind of at the darkest point at the start, I would say. Like obviously he started off as being a charlatan and drunk, and Prime was obviously controlled by Kessa, and they both end up like being the one who helped come back to save the day. That's a quite like that in itself is good that they kept that bit. Just that massive chunk in the middle between those, like the start and the end. That's what needs to change. That massive big thing there.
Need to get some duct tape in there.
Yeah,
start taping them up.
Do you know what they need? Some flex tape.
I thought you were going to say prick stick.
No.
I will say, obviously, I do like the action in this film. It's very like fast paced and hard hitting. As I say, instantly gets into a big battle, and then from that battle, quite quickly into some more action. And it, very quickly, like the first like 40 minutes, is lots of action. Then it slows down, focuses a lot more on like sort of like chasing and whatnot, and obviously storytelling, which is hit and miss. Before then getting to this big battle at the end, obviously between two planets and even two best friends, obviously Optimus and Bumblebee fighting, which is a quite cool fight. Yeah. It was the action, as usual with the Transformers films, is good.
That's true. If you completely ignore the changing ratio, the action's good. Although, if I could say anything about any Michael Bay films, is that if I see one more fucking bit of slow motion, seriously, I'm going to kill myself. Seriously. I am sick of slow motion. It's got to this point where Michael Bay loves slow motion so much, he literally creates a weapon so they can have slow motion in the actual world of Transformers, like actual canon slow motion, because he's that obsessed with it.
You mean Hot Rod's Grenade? Yeah, the French guy who is not actually French, just likes the accents.
Yeah, he's Grenade. Oh my god. Literally, he just wanted to have that in the world. And that, as a little early sneak, is my that there is my honourable mention for the Michael Bay Award, is the fact that he wanted to put slow motion in the world of Transformers. Typical.
See, personally, obviously, the only good thing with that is that one scene with Hound at the end when he's shooting. He gets thrown. He starts shooting at Megatron, and you see all the bullets within this like portal ball thing, and then when it goes, it just all like hits him, shoots him to the side. I thought it was quite a cool sequence.
Yeah, that was cool. It has it's very like interesting way of using times like that whole slow mo thing. It's just the fact that it exists makes me laugh.
I do find it funny that they brought Hot Rod into this like universe now. Obviously, in the animated one, eventually he became like this massive part of it, and yet he just like essentially becomes like a joke early on. But obviously, we're not going to even see any more of him since this continuity is not carrying on.
Yes, I mean, the whole of this continuity, like even this basically film, I personally think is a complete separate universe to the Bumblebee prequel.
Oh, there is. It pretty much is. At first, it wasn't, but when it did well, they said, "What Transformers films?"
Nah, they don't exist. Because obviously, in this like very film, they basically say that that Bumblebee before he was Bumblebee, he was this Nazi killer, like helping like American military defeat all of like Nazi Germany and stuff. So that obviously is a completely different backstory than what we get in Bumblebee. So it's quite. They try to come up with a backstory, but let's be honest, since everyone fucking loves Bumblebee, we're going to prefer that backstory.
I didn't mind him being like part of this military unit, like a prelude to what he basically became eventually.
That's what I mean. Like it was all right backstory, but the one in Bumblebee is much more better. Could get to see this evolution of him. So yeah. Also, obviously, speaking of Bumblebee, good to like have that final bit with his voice popped in.
Oh yeah.
And of course, you know why I love the voice. Come on, you gotta love a bit of Dylan, don't you? Oh.
It's fucking the fucking female version of his voice though gets me.
Oh yeah. The fucking basically the Stephen Hawking's voice. Oh, that was fun. Like that's one example of the hit comedy sometimes do, compared to the many misses.
Another like a hit is even if it's only like the smallest of appearances, fucking Steve Buscemi as a Transformer called
Day Trader something?
Yeah, Day Trader. The when he brings in with the voice.
Yeah, he was fun. He's this sleazy fucking dealer that's coming in like, I got this one. Ooh, and a Starscream head, you know you want that.
That's gonna come in handy when Megatron turns up.
Yeah. They can stand there and monologue to it.
Old like friend.
Fucking Hamlet.
To be or not to be? Dead.
Bumblebee or not the Bumblebee? That is the question. Oh, yeah, it was. There are some good elements, as I've been saying. It's just there's also a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
The best way, obviously, of putting this, obviously, you said the middle's a mess. I feel like the start of it, obviously, is a good way to start. Then the middle, the main redeemer is obviously Anthony Hopkins, and I think Cogman, I think it is, the Robert Butler. Those are the two sort of main redeemers of this middle section. And then you got this really epic like end battle, probably one of the largest sort of scale fights you're gonna see in one of these Transformers. And then it's obviously not like city destroying, it's planet destroying.
yeah, like the whole point of like either like what's at risk is not just one planet really. It's technically two because you got the whole point of if Unicron, because at the end it is revealed that Unicron is there. He's a living like thing on Earth, but it's like if Earth gets destroyed, Cybertron survives, but at the same time, there's a risk of Cybertron getting fully destroyed as well.
It's basically fucked anyway.
Yeah, but then find a way to like make it not so as bad at least. Have it like sort of like the best of both worlds in a way. Like Earth is survived. Cybertron, yeah, it's still broken, but it's not gone. I mean, they can still return home at least. So at least that's done. Obviously, they're leaving Earth behind. So yeah, there's the one thing, big glaring thing there is like, what the fuck are they going to do with the dinosaurs though? Because they aren't there to go on the fucking Cybertruck, so they're being left in the fucking junkyard on their own. Because like that is probably one the thing that pisses me off is the amount of fucking like unused opportunities that they had. Like, they had the opportunity to have all the three dinosaurs fighting alongside like the dragon and fight all the other like ones they've got, all the fucking parts. Yet they don't use them. They just leave them back in the fucking junkyard to just mill about, do fuck knows what. It's just a proper missed opportunity. Like, it probably would have made that end scene just that bit better as well. Can you imagine seeing this fire-breathing dinosaur and it's like fighting alongside this massive fire-breathing three-headed Hydra? But they don't fucking use it. Oh, like a massive missed opportunity. Seriously.
I feel like as well, one of the scenes that it's the most useless part of the movie, but it just cracked me up a bit that they put it in there as the Suicide Squad sort of roll call.
Yeah, all the fucking Decepticons, two of them die instantly.
Pretty much. I love it. Is it Mohawk who gets left behind? Like Megatron's fucked up and Mohawk's by himself. He's like, "Where's everyone gone, Bumblebee?"
Yeah, literally.
Oh shit!
That does make me laugh.
I love that. Obviously, he's name dropping all these like Transformers he wants. He's like, Mohawk, yada yada, and he drops that one, and it shows like this really like brutal, vicious one. And they're like, yeah, you're not having that one. It makes Megatron like deep down, like for the fact he jumps to another one instead. Deep down, he's like, yeah, I thought that was a bit of a push, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, that's my favourite one. We should go down the tower, you know, popping neck in.
The one thing I don't get though with that is obviously they got all these locked up Decepticons, but yet they've been blowing up Transformers when they see them. So why have they got these locked up and not destroyed? That makes no sense.
Yeah, but we could put that down to Michael Bay logic, you know, if you want.
It's about right.
Like I say, like we were saying before, this is an example of continuity in your own fucking film, like just that one specific film being completely messed up.
Yeah. I think I like the music in the background. I thought the music was quite kick-ass. It had a nice beat to it, especially when it's like getting all like dramatic and it turns around. It's just Cogsman playing the fucking organ.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
or doing his fucking opera singing. And then Hopkins is like, I'm gonna mail you back to Cybertron in a box.
It's basically like a better version of that joke in Shrek 3. When Shrek and Arthur having that, ironically, having that like touching moment, and there's Bird in the background playing on his doorbell. Sorry, would add a bit dramatic to it, though. It was kind of a better version of that joke.
Yeah, basically.
Well done for doing a better joke than that shit film.
I'm trying to think of anything. Obviously, special effects as usual. Transformers is good.
Yeah, decent.
Obviously, it's not as groundbreaking as it was back then, like back in when the first one came out. But it's still basically they've just been upgrading ever so slightly. So it's always still looks the same, but obviously you can it's different technology.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what else to say. 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, 2.5 hours long. Basically, good, good like layer, good pastry. Just
it's a good concept, but it's not executed great.
Yeah, speaking of execution, there's the whole fact that it's basically two fucking plots mixed into one. So they go through this whole plot line of Mark Wahlberg having this father-daughter relationship with this random daughter, Laura. She has her own little boots, but it's not boots, it's a robot.
Squeaks.
And then
with big wanking arm.
And then they go for a completely different plot line with love interest between the British Merlin descendant. And it's like, okay, what was the whole point of having her there, having Dora there, if you're just going to completely scrap that, go for love interest, and then like, oh shit, we forgot about her. Let's bring it back for the final climax. So there was no real like reason to have her there, unless you would have her go for the entire fucking film with him. That'd make much more sense. Like it worked in the previous film. Make it work here.
To be fair though, by the point of the ending, Michael Bay probably already fucking climaxed with all that slow motion we've already seen.
Climax and Hot Rod used that one slow mo grenade. Like, oh god, this is perfect. This is my magnum opus. He thought this would be the best film he ever made.
And then the writing crew was next to him was going, "Sir, we still have this other character we brought in and got rid of instantly. Oh, I'm just gonna mop up, do whatever you want, bring her back in. I don't care."
He was like, this is gonna be the best film I've ever made. So we've got to write a story. We'll throw some of it later. This whole time we've just been doing slow motion fucking scenes and that's it. So we've got a better plot. Get through it from the bin. It'll work.
Anything else you want to bring up?
Anything else I want to bring up?
I can't 100% think of anything else that I want to massively bring up and slam or praise, because I've pretty much done my praising as best I could.
I know. How fucking convenient is it that Mark Wahlberg happens to be in the same place where this fucking sigil, which basically turns into fucking Excalibur, happens to be like some random fucking green guy from the previous film is like, I know that I was one of the weird drones that were trying to shoot you all, but here, have this sigil, because you are a knight now, apparently, Mark Wahlberg. I'm dead.
I felt like he was tracking that ship, but I mean, it's a bit weird that this robot was like, yeah, you're cool, man, have this.
That's what I mean. Like, why would he have that? Because he's supposed to be one of the drones that was in the previous film that was helping Blackout, whatever his name is.
I don't know if he's meant to. I think the ship is very similar, but I don't think he's meant to be one of those. He's man.
Pretty sure because he had green eyes. They used the green eyes to represent his sort of workforce, whatever it is.
Who knows? So, Michael Bay.
That's, I mean, it made no sense for him to have that, but yet he does. and conveniently gives it to the person it requires. It's just a lot of like coincidences.
Yeah, what can I say? Michael Bay, a main protagonist. You can't beat him.
You fucking can.
Okay, there's favourite moment, if you can think of one. Easily the opening medieval sequence for me. Stage-wise, really cool, really epic scale. It set the tone for the movie, and just the rest didn't live up to it. So that's probably, apart from the ending, probably the ending's probably the only thing that lived up to that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's definitely probably going to be the best moment of the movie. Is that just the whole like first 10 minutes? Was it 5-10 minutes? I've lost track of time.
Yeah. My favourite moment has to be in the credits because thank fuck it was over. Seriously, like.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. The credits over the after credit scene, or the credits after the after credit scene?
After the after credit scene,
Okay,
because at first the previous credits like, oh, fan fuck it's over, and then it cuts to a fucking end credit scene. And I was like, oh fuck's sake, more. And then it finished, and then the proper credits. I was like, right now I can just like not watch this ever again.
I do find it funny. Obviously, this film struggles with continuity, and yet, and obviously, any sort of real connections to any previous movie, and yet it still nods the Egypt and Hong Kong sequences from 2 and 4 with that one scene of Cybertron destroying them.
Yeah.
Hey, should we do continuity anyway? Nah, let's just get to Egypt, Hong Kong. That's continuity. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. I just like destroying shit. Woo! I'm Michael Bay.
That's it. He just picks them up randomly. It happened to be in those two fucking places. Oh, so that's convenient.
Okay, let's rate this motherfucker. I say I think the simplest way to put this is a mediocre mess. I've seen way worse movies, but I've also seen way better movies. And it is definitely the bastard child of the Transformers franchise.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, get ready for my weird ass rating here. So a 4 is what I'm going to. The base is a 4. It is easily a 4. But it gets an extra point for Anthony Hopkins in the same vein as Michael Caine. Always gets an extra point because Anthony Hopkins is amazing in this movie. It then minuses a point for the camera changing constantly, so it's back to 4. Back to 4.
Yep.
You still with me? Still with me? It gets half a point now for there being a dragon involved, because I always have to give like a half a point every time I see a dragon in a movie. It gets another half of the point for being heavily based in England. Gotta give our nation some love. So
yeah.
So that brings it to a 5. I do want to bring it back to a 4, but I gave Jaws 3D a 4, and I'd rather watch this than Jaws 3D. So I'm going to stick with a 5. It's a mediocre mess.
So I'm going to give it. It gets a point for the entire start sequence. It gets a point for the end, like the whole end fight. But like, I did quite like the end fight. It gets a point for Anthony Hopkins, and it does get a point for the dragon. And I'm going to stick it with a 4 because just like I don't want to watch Jaws 3D, but I also don't want to watch this again either. So to me, they're on equal footings. So yeah,
like this is definitely like mid card between just over like a 4.5, but yeah, after the fucking rounding then, so that's why it has to be rounded up. Can't round down to 4.5.
Actual James, he finds some kind of way to do it, even if it's the wrong way to do it.
Oh yeah, forgot about him. Alex.
Welcome back to a geeky segment again, because it's me by myself and no Hayden and Tom again. Why do they keep making me watch bad movies by myself? I don't know. But anyway, Transformers the last night. It's boring. They had some good comedy in it, like, which is a lot more than last week's one. So that's That's a very much of a positive. I like comedy. I really do like the comedy in movies, but yes, they showed off some great old men banter and the old women's wives round the table. Oh, you should get a wife, a husband. Oh, a wife. Oh, there's noises going upstairs. Oh, they're having the shaggy shag. But yes, yes. It was not a good film. It was an average film. Nowhere near good. It was average. Maybe a bit below average. But, you know. Did I enjoy the film? It was okay. Kept me semi-engaged during it. I wasn't 100% focused on the film. So, yeah, it wasn't the best with that way, but you know. What are you gonna do? The film. The Transformers film. The later Transformers films. They're not as good as the first ones. But oh well. What are you gonna do? What are you going to do? Nothing. No. Did this film make me fall asleep? Yes. I fell asleep watching the film at the very end. Like, yeah, it was the very end, but you know. It's only quarter to 7 at night. So yeah, I've only been awake for 9-10 hours ago. 10. Yeah, almost 10 hours. So I'm nowhere near tired enough to go to sleep normally. But yes, this film has made me basically fall asleep. So hey, if I want to fall asleep anytime soon, I can watch this film again. Will I? No, because it was shit. I did not like this film. They had an interesting concept with. I thought this film was going to take, like, just use the kids at the very beginning of the film, but no. But then it went to Britain, and I was like, ooh, okay. No. I mean, they did stay in Britain, but you know. They had a fucking. At the beginning of the film, I thought I was watching a completely different film. I had to double check to make sure it was the Transformers film. I was like, have I clicked on Game of Thrones or something? Some shit like that? No. Anyway, that's basically my overall for the film. Was it good? Not really. Will I watch it again? Probably not. Especially not by myself. What do I give it as a 10 though? Last week I gave it a 7. But this one, no. Average is 5. It's below average. So I'm gonna give this a Chatter Cave rating 10. A 4. That was really muddled up, but you know. It's getting a Chatter Cave overall of a 4 out of 10 for me. And next week, I actually get to watch a film with divas. And it's Bumblebee! It's Bumblebee! So, a lot happier. So, see ya there.
Okay, so that gives Transformers The Last Night a Chatscape overall rating of 4.3.
Wow.
He went the same as you.
I don't know.
Yeah. I still feel like he's just doing that to cover up the fact he gave the last one a 7.
He's disappointed.
Okay, so just gave MVP award time, and this week it's very obviously Sir Edmund Burton, played by Sir Anthony Hopkins, because he's the comic relief. We always love a good bit of comic relief, especially when it feels natural, and Anthony Hopkins makes it natural, and that whole flipping the bird scene has summed it up for me.
Definitely.
Go in a fast car, flipping the bird at someone.
It's basically us in GTA.
Yeah. But that's at each other.
Yeah, obviously.
As we're in the same car. So the runner-up, I was going to give it to Cogman, voiced by Jim Carter, because it was the buddy dynamic between them. But I don't feel like he deserved the MVP, so Anthony Hopkins deserved it alone. I was going to give it to Steve Buscemi, but he was barely in it, so... If it was another scene with him, like when the ship came, if he was driving that ship, then I would have give it to him. Because, come on, it's Steve Buscemi. I got to give it to Connor's old man. I mean, Steve Buscemi. But he wasn't in it. In that sequence, so I had to give it to Cogman just because he tried to choke Mark Wahlberg out before the film. It would have ended the film very quickly.
Yes, it would have. For the better, really.
Yep. So we completely forgot about the Michael Bay Award during recording because I was kind of in a rush to get this one over and done with because I had something to do. So I will quickly do this in editing. So the Michael Bay Award picture on screen right now is going to be the Bumblebee scene where he keeps coming together. It's already slow motion, legs attaching, arms attaching, people getting hit by feet, stuff's going there and everything. Obviously, Hayden honorably mentioned that grenade from a Hot Rod, or Hot Rod as he kept calling himself. But we forgot to do this in the actual video, so as she said to me before recording yesterday, it's definitely got to be the Bumblebee scene when it comes together early on in the film. So, well done, Bumblebee. You win the NBA award, and you're also going to be on next week, so irony. So my question of the day is... Would you like to have seen them actually complete this story? Because obviously there was one more movie, I think in Michael Bay's 6 movies, to obviously end this sort of storyline. Obviously, it could have been better, could have been worse. It's 50-50. But I mean, obviously, if we've got this open ending there, which is not going to be resolved for the fact that the next one, I'm pretty certain, Rise of the Beast it's set in the 90s, so it's not going to be involved at all. So obviously, we're not going to get the ending, obviously the unicorn ending. So, but would you have liked to see them try just to finish it off, even if it was mediocre? Obviously, as long as it was a bit better than this for you, would you like to see them actually finish this story?
No, I can't do any more fucking slow motion, seriously.
No, I mean, if he was producer, he wasn't fully involved.
If it was like Bumblebee, where he basically wasn't involved.
He has saying the plot because it's his story, but he's not directing.
If he has involved the plot, then
it'd have to be for the fact that it's his story. Technically, this whole 6.
Yeah.
I don't think he wrote any of them. I can't remember who wrote them. I think it was someone. I don't think it was the same person all the way through. But I mean, if he had actual saying how things go, okay, I want this to happen here, I want this to happen now. Obviously, you do whatever you want with your filming tactics. Put the slow mo in if you want. Just saying. But obviously, if he was some way involved, if there was some way just to finish off this story, without just leaving it on this essential cliffhanger, would you like to see them actually try and finish the story off with it's just one more movie, one and done, and then you can just reboot, spin-offs, prequels, you do what you want.
If it was like Bumblebee, if it was like Bumblebee, then yeah. But if he was going to be directing it, then no, because I seriously cannot deal with anymore. This one basically grinds it down to they've got some good points to it, but it's a chore to watch, really. Which that is saying something for a Michael Bay film, because it's supposed to be quite easy to sit down, just big up with the plot, just sit down, watch it, pretty light. But even this one has some problems with the visuals, so yeah, no thanks. But if he doesn't get involved, director-wise, then sure.
What if, though, he made it like he did the first Transformers film, not too much slow motion? If he had the same directing style as that first one.
Though? Do you really think he would restrain himself? As you can tell, each film is a little bit more slow motion, which is basically, I think these sets of films are him basically developing his obsession with slow motion.
But
it starts off small.
If they did manage to restrain him to back so if he was directing, they managed to restrain him to just do like you did the first film, a little bit here and there, not too much. Would you let him come back and do it?
No.
Not even to finish off his vision?
No. Honestly, if you be producer, if you're behind the scenes, you can't be director. Because, no. Yeah.
Not even if there wasn't any slow motion whatsoever?
If there's no, like, if it looked good, maybe. But still, I don't think it will be, like, the best thing out there. Like, I think the only way to, if he actually did finish it and it was dog shit, I don't know if we would have had like any more.
No, they would have rebooted it easily. They wouldn't have left
Yeah,
it as dog shit. They definitely would have rebooted it.
Like,
They
I'm
would have
trying
tried
to
to
like
fix it.
if the timing for this one and Bumblebee was just perfect. But I think another one might have like just pushed it off the edge. Another shit film. So no, unless he's not directing, but no.
Interesting
That's my verdict.
Interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for Chat Cave podcast this week. I'm gonna just stop announcing the movies at the end of the podcast, so in case obviously anything changes between now and then, or more vlogs like we did last time. Who knows? So yeah, I've been your host, Ranking Thomas Hughes.
I'm now done with Michael Bay. Like, can't do anymore.
I mean, you have to say adios, Michael Bay, because 5 back-to-back weeks of your movies is a bit too much. Bit too much for a stretch.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least Dora was in this film.
What about you and Dora?